probably even worse than this standing water on that night. Well, it hasn't reached those levels yet, but it's going to be very, very difficult conditions for these two sides. And significantly, while both were warming up, a lot of time was being spent in the in-goal areas, kicking, collecting kicks in readiness for what could be a very canny game. Catalan Dragons going into this game under a little bit of pressure, as are the Warrington Wolves. 2 defeats in a row behind them. They don't want 3 defeats going into their cup semi-final against Leeds last week. The last time they lost 3 in a row in Super League, you have to go back to 2009 for that, and it's not the best preparation for one of the big games of the season, a Challenge Cup semi-final. Meanwhile, the Catalan Dragons, well, their form has dipped, having been on a great run and lost against Huddersfield last week and were second best in that game at the John Smith Stadium. And they need to turn it round because they are no means secure in the playoff places. They're 7th, it looks as though they can't go any higher than 7th, but they could well go lower if they don't pick up the pace. They've got difficult games to come. Salford away, next up after this. London at home, okay, they'll be very confident of winning that one, but then they've got Hull KR away and Castleford at home. So a tough run-in potentially for the Catalan Dragons. As it is, they'll face an away game in the playoffs. Doesn't look as though they're going to be able to overhaul the Huddersfield Giants, who are above them in the table. The Dragons taking the field, and it does look as though the rain is relenting a little bit. The sky away to our left, behind the new stand, and the Pyrenees over there does seem to be brightening up. Referee tonight is Richard Silverwoods. And it'll be the Catalan Dragons who'll get us underway. Despite the weather, it's a great atmosphere. This is one of the events of the season for Catalan Dragons. They've had some of their best crowds for this fixture.
Stay on, guys.
Mainly due to the presence of so many away supporters who brought a lot of colour and noise to the centre of Perpignan today. Some great dress sense on show, not just from the Warrington supporters either. Dress sense.
And you're looking at Terry O'Connor and not me.
Morgan Escaray gets this game underway here in Perpignan. And here is Chris Hill.
Bill, in these conditions, you want to make sure that your first touch is a good one. There's going to be some mistakes because the ball will still be greasy. Warrington, there you go, they're showing the hands straight away, trying to play wide, and I don't think, as I was saying pre-game, that they will try and change the way that they play. They believe in the process that Tony Smith has in place. It's just about good ball security, and when you hit hard from a defender, you keep a tight hold of that ball.
The Warrington side showing 1 or 2 changes, players coming back into the game in time for the semi-final. That's the 5th tackle, and a good defensive start to the game from the Catalan Dragons. There's Myler, one of those players, coming back, putting the kick in. And Catalan with Michael Oldfield playing the ball on the 40-metre line.
Bill, you talk about those players coming back for Warrington. 3 big guns in Trent Waterhouse, Michael Monaghan, Scott Griggs. Trent Waterhouse hasn't played for 10 games. Michael Monaghan, 7 games, and Scott Griggs, 4 games. So I'm sure that Catalan, when they look at the players who are playing in front of them, they're going to try and keep it tight. And even if you look at the size of the centres in Ben Pomeroy, Zeb Taylor, they have got players out wide that can play that sort of aggressive game plan.
Jeff Lima goes to ground on the Warrington 40-metre line. There's Jason Botteri, that's the 5th tackle. Price in position to put the kick in and hoist that one towards the wing of Rhys Evans. Elliot Whitehead challenges, the ball bounces down, there's a knock on there, and the finger is pointed at Rhys Evans.
Yeah, I think that's the correct decision. You're right, Bill, you picked it up just before the start of the game. Gene Ormsby, Rhys Evans, well, they both went into this game expecting heat like that, and we've watched Catalan every home game this year. They've scored 2, 3, 4 tries from exactly that play. They've got one of the best kickers, or 2 of the best kickers in Leon Price and Thomas Bosch, and they're going to have a busy evening, them two.
And they've got head and feet at the scrum as a result of that knock-on. Here's Pomeroy, and Pomeroy, his first touch of the ball, and he drops it. And they go for the free play, and Gene Ormsby is set away down that right-hand side.
Well, good field position like that. You don't want the ball at the line. Ben Pomeroy, I think he was just having a little look at what was in front of him and just making that mistake, which won't please his coach, Lauren Fraser.
Looping pass that was, and drops at the feet of Ben Curry. Did well to react there.
I'm not sure whether they're trying to get on the outside of the tight three defenders from Catalan. You can see Julian Busquet there, the man who's got the green boots on. He was getting up really quick, trying to play outside of those big men.
Come back down the middle now with Chris Bridge. Playing in the centre's Bridge once again. That's another long ball, and this time it goes straight in front of Ben Curry, and it's picked up by Rhys Evans off his toes. That's the 5th tackle. And Gareth O'Brien O'Brien, taken by Jason Botteri, felt his presence, well collected by Daryl Millard.
He's a tough player, Gareth O'Brien. You know, you could argue that he's tackled in the air, but Gareth O'Brien throughout the last 2 or 3 years has took attention like that, got back up and got on with his job. Great to see.
We've seen him take some punishment, haven't we?
Yeah, he's a tough little player. He doesn't change the way that he plays because he gets shots like that as well.
Jeff Lima, who runs into a posse of Warrington Wolves defenders. Here's Henderson. Ian Henderson flips that ball out the back, and Leon Price, well, Price looked daggers at Ian Henderson there. Not impressed, as you can see.
Well, he knows Ian Henderson. This is like overplaying. It's not a good pass to Leon Price. You can see it's down near his feet.
Well, neither of these two sides are prepared to play that percentage rugby league, and I'm fascinated to see which team will just rein in it a little bit and not pass the ball, but just calculate whether the risk is worth it or not.
When do you think that that clicks as a player, Barry, when you're making those sort of mistakes?
When you offload the ball and it hits you in the shin and you get a couple of scrums.
So they're now going to rein it in, do you think, for a few sets?
I'm not saying you don't pass it, you just don't put your teammate under pressure. If you're going to pass it early.
Bridge. As Warrington get head and feet following that knock on, and Ian Henderson looking to atone for what was, given the conditions, pretty reckless pass. Here's Michael Monaghan, stabs a kick early on. Rhys Evans chasing, couldn't quite get there, but adventurous play from the Warrington Wolves, kicking early, and Rhys Evans, great opportunity, but couldn't rein it in.
Well, that's the danger from Michael Monaghan, out of dummy half, such an intelligent player, and it's just the pressure from Oldfield on Evans. He can't quite gather that ball, and you can see just how much water is holding on the ground. Whether the ball goes up in the air or whether the ball's along the ground, it's going to be difficult for the back three of either side.
A let off there for the Catalan Dragons, a warning to them of Warrington's ability to improvise whatever the conditions. So Catalan have to bring it out from deep. Botteri struggles to get to his feet, the loose forward.
This is where you want the ball early. You don't want Ian Henderson taking a step out of dummy half. You want the ball off the ground so there's no defenders in your face.
Here is Price. That time the pass from Henderson reaches him. But Price can't make much progress. Clinging onto that ball. Henderson looking at the referee and looking for him to speed it up. The kick is charged down. Escaré beats one and goes all the way home, and then turns and heads in the opposite direction, the fullback. They love this, the Catalan supporters.
Well, Morgan Escaré has that confidence, and Warrington, one of the hallmarks of Warrington, particularly on the last tackle, is putting pressure on the kicker. If they get a charge down, they believe that they are mentally tough enough to match it in that next set of 6 tackles.
Julien Busquet plays the ball. And here's Jeff Lima. These two sides testing each other out. Warrington with the first real opportunity of the game from that Mick Monaghan kick. Now straight up the middle they go on. That ball's come loose. The referee waves play on. Seb Tyre it was. Still loose. Rashford picks it up. And then eventually he'll come back for one of the many knock-ons there.
Well, did Trent Waterhouse, does he knock it out of the hand? It did look like it on first viewing. What's the referee signalled?
That was a very good line from Julian Busquets. I think it was Michael Monaghan that shot out the line, the little inside ball from Catalan.
Referee Silverwood just I think possibly getting a bit of advice there. Gives head and feed to the Warrington Wolves, right on their own 40-metre line. And Rashford trying to make a little bit of room for himself. Tackle just short of the halfway line. Good run from Anthony England, the 27-year-old prop who's done well since his elevation from Championship Rugby League. And Warrington with O'Brien. O'Brien is dumped to the ground.
That's a great shot, and I think that pass was on. Gareth O'Brien chose to keep hold of it. Ben Curry was through the space, through the gap. Thank you very much.
Thomas Bosk with the tackle, and again, little stab kick in. Escaré will field it at the back. And he is eventually collared by Chris Bridge.
Well, could that be the tactic, the game plan? As soon as we get down there, within 20 metres of our opponents, we're just going to dab the ball and make Catalan work hard. They really are tough carries. As we see, Elliot Whitehead been in superb form this year for the Dragons.
Yep, Super League's top try-scoring forward, Elliot Whitehead. Busquets. Henderson calling the shots. Lima. On. Under no pressure, Thomas Bosk drops that ball and is furious with himself.
Well, I think he just has a little look at Ben Harrison. Ben Harrison was the first marker for Warrington, who gets out, chases hard, and just Thomas Bosk, I think, a little look up. But the little twos player, Leon Price, coming away from his own line. The little twos player to Louis Anderson, sorry. Both sides willing to play.
But that could be, Tez, a bit of a legacy. There's been kick pressure. The opening spell of this game, Warrington have worked really hard. They want to put pressure on that kicker. Thomas Bosch, who himself is returning after 5 games, maybe a little bit rusty.
Yeah, Sam Williams left out for the Catalan Dragons. A bit of a surprise, having had a good game on home soil when they beat the Wakefield Wildcats. Now the ball finds Gene Ormsby on the Warrington right-hand side, and the winger has to retrieve that before he can make some forward progress. Myler stretching for that ball, came back last weekend into action, Richie Myler, after 6 games out. And the first penalty of the game goes in favour of the Warrington Wolves.
That's a shame. I thought Gareth O'Brien was just teeing himself up for a kick to the corner. More pressure for Catalan to deal with.
They tap the penalty very quickly, and Ben Harrison gets close. Monaghan will try and burrow his way over, but he's not going to burrow his way. He is! He is! He wrestles himself free of the defenders, and Michael Monaghan gets the first try of the game, his 3rd of the season, and he had no right to score that. They thought they'd got a hold of him, slippery as an eel. He got free, and he plunges over the try line, and that error from Thomas Bosk, well, they've paid a heavy price for that.
Well, it's all about the second effort from Michael Monaghan. We saw him close to the line with a little kick, and then he just pushes really hard. He's working through the Catalan players, and there's 3 men there who think they've got him, and all of a sudden it's just that second effort. He spins out to the tackle from Leon Price and Louis Anderson. Good start from Michael Monaghan.
Well, Tez, I think it's even more simpler than that. All those 3 defenders all presumed that the other one had control of the ball. You know, when you're near your goal line, all you have to do is clamp that ball, prevent players who are so intelligent like Michael Monaghan from making the ball available and getting it down. And Lauren Fresin, who's just to our right of the commentary position, he stood up out of his chair, blasted some information down. And those are the type of tries that coaches are furious with, because you know that you do lots of work.
I actually thought he was talking to you.
Chris Bridge with the goal-kicking duties for the Warrington Wolves after that try from Michael Monaghan. It's my brother Joel who's bagging the first try of the game, and Bridge bags the first two-pointer of the game. Warrington ahead by 6 points to 0 here in Perpignan. Monaghan back after 7 games out, getting the first points.
Well, let's just have a look at the defenders on the goal line. Anderson thinks he's got him. Leon Price almost grabs hold of Louis Anderson, and out the back Morgan Escaré just assumes that those two defenders have secured the ball, and they were wrong.
Catalan's away form has been miserable this season, just wins at Leeds and Bradford and then draw at Widnes from 11 games, but on home soil they really have been tough, and only Leeds and Wigan have won on this ground this season, so Warrington know what they're up against. Mind you, that last... Oh, and then the error from Myler. This ball proving as slippery as Michael Monaghan.
Yeah, well, it's a fortress down here in the south of France, and Richie Myler, well, he makes the mistake. He thinks he has the ball, has a look up at Louis Anderson, and as I said, Bill, earlier on, there are going to be mistakes in this game. It's how you react to those mistakes. Just because you've made a mistake, it doesn't give the opposition the God-given right to score a try. This is where you switch on. This is where you work hard for your teammate that's made that mistake.
Well, Bosch knocked on for Catalan, and Warrington took full advantage of that. Can the Catalan Dragons repay the compliments? And Pomeroy plays the ball. And Warrington, 4 men in the tackle. Terry trying to get himself free. Whitehead, the ball comes out wide, and they do respond immediately with Michael Oldfield. And Oldfield in at the corner gets his 14th try of the season, and it's going to be that sort of the night. We've seen it. Bosch dropped the ball, Warrington scored, Myler pops it up, and the Catalan Dragons score.
Well, we see the mistake, too close to your line. Tez is 100% right. You need to switch on and focus and defend those errors. Elliot Whitehead poses one of the most physical threats in the game of Super League at the minute, and the old bouncing ball is one of the best tricks if you can master, and you can predict where that ball is going to bounce and pick it up like Michael Oldfield did, then you're a genius.
Just 3 minutes between those two tries then, and Oldfield, the 23-year-old, former Manly and Roosters winger, has been in pretty good form since joining the Catalan Dragons this season, and he did well there because we've been saying the ball's slippery. It's not a great night for handling. He had to scoop that ball up off his shins. Laurent Frazineau, well, he was up on his feet again then, but this time feeling a little bit better about life.
Well, he wasn't really under pressure because Rhys Evans, well, he'd shot in. He thought he was going to close the play down, but Michael Oldfield, as you correctly say, Bill, picks that up cleanly.
Thomas Bosch lining up the conversion. He's nearing 500 goals in his Catalan career. Just needs 6 more to attain that target. Tony Smith down on the sidelines, and thankfully not standing in a downpour anymore. It has cleared up. It could be raining tries here tonight. 2 already. And Bosch taking over the goal-kicking duties from Sam Williams, who's out of the side and doing a very good job indeed. Bang on target. The score's 11, 6 points apiece.
Well, when you have someone like Elliot Whitehead in your side, who has been a constant threat all year, you don't know whether he's going to try and run over the top here or pass the ball like that. It was a sloppy pass, but still Michael Oldfield had the presence of mind and the confidence to pick that ball up, knowing that Rhys Evans had shot in the field. There was nobody in front of him. All they had to do, pick it up cleanly, score the opening try for Catalan.
Booming restart from Ratchford. Lima comes rumbling back with the ball. Here is Whitehead. And Warrington very aware of the danger Elliot Whitehead poses to them. Henderson, good run from the Scottish international. The ball goes backwards, goes forwards, and referee blows for the knock-on.
Oh, that's twice that, Bill. That's too difficult for the Dragons players. He's a good player, Henderson. Pops out. Feels like it's an opportunity to get that ball away. He's pleading to the referee that it was touched by a Warrington player. I think he'll get some instruction from the sideline. Jerome Guisset, former Warrington player, of course. We're giving him some instruction. Let's just weigh up the percentages. That's too high of a risk.
So head and feet to the Warrington Wolves in a very advantageous position, about 30 metres out. Oh, and then a sloppy pass. Well, it's not exactly slick at times. Well, it probably is slick out there. That might be a reason for it.
Well, it's the width that they're trying to play with. Obviously, they've not got good control of the ball when they're trying to pass it. Maybe it's the short little twos plays. Is that a loose carry? Was it a drop ball?
It is.
It was Louis Anderson who comes up with a shot on Chris Hill.
It could have been a loose carry, but I'll tell you what, the Dragons players are viewing that as a defensive win.
Yeah.
Very physical. Nice low tackle down low. Very physical up top. Louis Anderson, another former Warrington player, just does enough. It's a good battle this. 20 minutes so far. Really tight contest.
Louis Anderson, 104 appearances for the Wolves, and he was greeting his former colleagues before the game, but no love lost now between these two. As we've said already, a lot at stake for them in respective situations. Warrington looking to get back in the saddle after those shock defeats. Certainly last weekend was a shock defeat, losing at home to Wakefield, whose former coach Richard Agar is here tonight, incidentally, in his capacity as French international manager. He's got a Four Nations Championship to prepare for in the autumn, and he's sitting down just below us. And France kicking off, and France in the shape of the Perpignan, the Catalan side, coming up with a kick through Price.
He's happy with that as well. Just wants to roll the ball off the island, slow the game down. As we say, we're reaching that second quarter now, perhaps the second phase of the tactics that both teams have brought into this game. Time to reassess. Has the first quarter worked, and what do we need to change as we lead into second half?
Just going back to Richard Agar, his first task in the European Championships will be a game against Ireland in Dublin on October the 18th, and the tournament starts the day before, I think, when Scotland play the Welsh in Warrington. So Richard Agar here tonight.
Well, that kick from Leon Price, the man who's just up first marker, it just buys good field position, and you can see that then how aggressive that the Catalan players are. Good solid contact, trying to dislodge that ball again, looking to play outside of Zeb Taylor on that occasion.
It's Chris Hill. That's the fifth tackle as Hill plays the ball. O'Brien launches that kick high. Mescari is underneath it. Oh, just well there. He must have eyes in the back of his head.
That's a fantastic take. Richie Myler just clips him. I'm happy with that, mate. That was completely accidental.
Yeah, do you know, he's a young player, but such an accomplished fullback. Because he knows that Richie Myler is chasing the kick. The ball was pulled. It was a very good chase from Warrington. And now they're offside. Trying to lift the levels. They know that they had Catalan trapped in field position. Look at that. That's a brilliant take.
And credit to him as well. He takes one round the chops, gets on with the job in hand, and then from that the penalty ensues.
Escarret very close to a Young Player of the Year title last season, shaded by Ben Crooks, and he's having a great season again for the Catalan Dragons. Here's Louis Anderson, that characteristic striding run, really got motor in there.
Three players to stop him.
Price now. Price shows it to Lima, then gives it to Gregory Muniz, who's on the field.
Will this game start to open up, Bill? I've seen Louis Anderson with that right hand offload many times. Here we go.
Tyre couldn't take it. Escarret pops it down, but it's a knock-on.
It was just too hard. The pass was too hard. The correct line from Zeb Taylor, but in these conditions, it's difficult. It's difficult to catch that ball because he has a little look up.
Good defence though, Tez.
It is. Chris Hill chasing very hard.
Good defence. Joe Monaghan ultimately puts enough pressure on for Zeb Tayyip just to lose his focus.
A softer ball, it could have been a try, that.
Catalan just getting a bit more adventurous there. Zeb Tayyip has had a great season. This is his 27th consecutive appearance for the Dragons. And he's been a real strong character for them. Elliot Whitehead credits him with part of his development. Whitehead in the tackle there, working alongside Zeb Tayyip and Louis Anderson, and last season Steve Menzies as well. Not bad people to play alongside and learn from. Here's Paul Wood as the two sides make the changes, and Paul Wood off the bench, the Wolves' longest server, making his 334th appearance tonight here in a steamy Perpignan. We're at 6 points apiece.
I thought Warrington might have kicked this ball early. Chris Hill again with his second carry in this set of 6. Michael Monaghan probing. Sorry, Bill.
Potential for a 40-20 here. Myler puts the kick in, gets Bateri right round his ankles and gets back up on his feet. Jason Bateri certainly putting himself around. Here's Daryl Millard. Catalan with a bit of rebuilding to do at the end of this season. Millard, one of the players leaving. There's the tackle. Bateri coming in, just clipping Richard Myler. Yeah, Daryl Millard is on his way. Apparently Lupini Pia is on the way out. Mikel Simon going to Wakefield. Leon Price going to Hull. Some uncertainty about the future as Sam Williams, who's only recently joined the club. Here is Lupini Pia.
Lee lifts the Dragons whenever he gets on the team. You see 3 big blokes trying to handle him, quick play the ball. Henderson's away.
Ian Henderson, he'll be involved, well, potentially, in Steve McCormack's Scotland squad. Price takes his time, launches the kick into the middle of the field. Ormsby comes for it and takes it well. Gene Ormsby.
Well, it was a good call from Gene Ormsby. Stephen Ratchford's come from the left, he's gone to the centre field, and obviously the call from Ormsby. He was confident for taking that ball.
Joel Monaghan dumped to the ground by Ian Henderson.
Some tough tackles out there.
Lupini Pia just apologising for something there.
And that's where he clipped him with his left arm. He didn't mean it, obviously.
Isn't it nice when they apologise? I'm sorry about that.
You feel a lot better, presumably, do you?
I'm sorry about that.
Well, I'm not so sure whether to say anything to him.
There's your 2 front teeth back. There's your 2 front teeth back.
And then Gareth O'Brien booms a kick downfield, but into the arms of Daryl Millard, the Fijian international. They will miss Millard.
There's some good players, sorry Bill, there's some good players on both sides. Someone who can just get hold of the ball, get the game by the scruff of the neck, create chances for people around them. What they do need is people pushing up in support with them, because if they do get their arms free, both sides have the ability to play through the line and finish it off with a try.
Bateri had to reach behind to collect the ball there. Henderson in a running dialogue with referee Silverwood, waving his arms around. He's been in France too long.
I'm beginning to think he could argue with himself in an empty room, Ian Henderson.
Price shifts the ball on, and it's Bosk this time who hoists it. And it's Ratchford who comes for it. He's got bags of time underneath it, and he's safe as houses, Stephen Ratchford. He was at loose forward last week against Wakefield. He's at full-back tonight in the absence of the injured Matty Russell.
He's a good player. He can play and has played 7 of the 8 positions.
Well, yeah. Is that possibly counting against him, because he's so versatile?
Well, he's just, for his side, what he does, he has the ability to slow the game down or to speed it up. The only positions that he's not played in his career is prop and second row. I'm sure he's looking forward to playing that
in
number 8
terms of
or 10.
In terms of international recognition. Here come the Warrington Wolves. O'Brien ankle tap by Henderson, and then Escaré finishes him off. It was a good job. Henderson got there, and they could still be in here. They're shipping the ball wide. Oh, Waterhouse goes without it, and Catalan will try and counter, but they're stopped in their tracks.
Well, it's easy to say watching this, but was that ball out wide, or was it just keep playing in the same area where you brought them? If you brought them in an area, the players around where that play the ball and break occur, they're not there, so keep going.
It's a good point, it's a good break. Oh, nice support. Apart from that ankle tap, that's a try. And you're right, Tez, the door's already open.
Yeah.
Don't try and find a window, the door's already open.
Ian Henderson being heavily involved. Here is Millard now, and Millard stays in the field of play. Ormsby and Joel Monaghan trying to force him off the island. Here goes Louis Anderson again. On the last, and Price has time to launch this one again. Not so high, not so deep. The chasers are there, and no attempt to go for the ball.
Yeah, that's an out-and-out penalty, isn't it?
He's a bad liar.
That's an out-and-out penalty. You can see he's having a look at Ratchford, and there's no real intention of catching that ball, maybe just putting Ratchford off. Well, if he's going to catch that ball, I've never seen a player catch a ball like this.
With his arms and his legs up in the air. It's an unusual technique, that one.
Eloy Pellissier has, well, he's always got something new going on with his facial hair, or his hair, his facial hair. He had a silver beard a couple of weeks ago, which didn't last long, not surprisingly. Now he's got some quiff by the look of things.
Well, I'm glad he got rid.
I'm
glad he got rid of the Papa Smurf look. I didn't like that at all.
He's a firecracker, isn't he?
He is. He's a handy player to have in your side as well.
He irritates everyone on the opposition, but that's what you want. You want a player like that. Plus, he can also play.
Simon Griggs playing the ball. He's missed the last 4 games. Important for him to get back to fitness as well. And O'Brien doing well there to retrieve the ball and then set off on the counter. Richie Myler, I beg your pardon. Griggs. Here is O'Brien. Here is Bridge now. Bridge. It's with Ben Curry, and Curry had Evans outside him, couldn't get the pass away. Bridge now, taking him on. Long ball, finds Myler. Myler stabs the kick through, and Millard plays safe. Maybe could have tried to work his way out of trouble there, but opted just to defuse the situation.
Well, that was pressure, and how crucial is it being Chris Bridge, who's playing in the centre. He's had a fabulous year playing at standoff for the Warrington Wolves, been pushed out to the centre for this game, and the minute he gets his hands on the ball, he forces a goal line dropout. I don't know whether at some point we might see Chris Bridge pushed into the middle, given that extra responsibility. He's a very creative player.
First goal line drop out of the game. Brief pause while the ball is returned from the far side of the ground. Look at those sea of Warrington supporters, that end of the ground, watching their side in a real tussle against the Catalan Dragons. Here is Roy Asatazi.
And Bill, we've been talking to a few of those Warrington Wolves fans. They're not too sure turning up today. There's some uncertainty. Those 2 defeats have affected the fans, never mind the players. So a good performance here, a good result here will kick them onto that semi-final.
To Warrington with a great position here. O'Brien, Ratchford has chimed in. Here is Bridge. Pomeroy with the tackle, assisted by Bosk. Now Ben Curry has benefited from Trent Wardhouse's absence. He's been in for the last 10 games. Monaghan, who got the first try of the game. Long ball, finds Myler. Myler, little step, makes some space for himself. Joel Monaghan out wide to Gene Ormsby. Ormsby comes back in field. Can't get the pass away. Monaghan made himself available, couldn't do so. That's the 5th tackle. Good defence so far from the Catalan Dragons. Good kick from Myler. Good goalkeeping from Elliot Whitehead.
They were very flat on that previous play. Gene Ormsby catching the ball behind him. Maybe a little bit more depth, a little bit more deception from the players carrying the ball from Warrington, but not a bad place to hand the ball over.
Great noise from the Catalan supporters down below us, outraged by the lack of a penalty coming their way from Monsieur Silverwood. The fact that they didn't actually merit one is incidental.
that's too much time for Leon Price. He can't stand back and let him play his plays. Well, kicking on the front foot, and an excellent kick as well.
Will it hold up? Will it?
Rhys Evans dealing with that one sensibly, making the ball dead.
Well, even though the ball's dead, the Warrington players having to get back behind Rhys Evans, but look at the Catalan line. All set, all nice and tight. You can just see he grounds the ball with his foot out of play.
The number 20 for the Dragons, Mikel Simon, on his way to the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats next season. Had a big game. We came to watch him a couple of weeks ago as a front rower against the club he's going to, Wakefield. Put in a stellar performance.
Here's Paul Wood now. Has had an on-off season, Paul Wood, just 5 or so appearances. Roy Asatazi. Back after missing last weekend's defeat by Wakefield. And Myler hoists that ball. Escaré again, commanding for a small character. He's not the biggest, he's a very commanding figure, and he gets the penalty as well. Joel Monaghan, incredulous.
Well, that's the urgency, first of all, to get up and play the ball. He wins his side of penalty, but you talk about him as a player.
No, he's older than Tez. He's older than Morgan Escaré. You're right.
He's flipping around. He's so confident as a player. My point is, he's confident as a player. He earns penalties because he looks though he's urgent. He wants to get up. He wants to play.
But I don't want to see him earning a penalty by holding on to a player. 22 years of age. His composure while he's catching those high bombs. Composure in lots of different situations, including when he comes to score a try. I don't want to see that in his game.
Lapini Paya. Good charge from him, but he's lost the ball. And Warrington have it back. Referee will bring it back.
Catalan ball, the referee said. Here we go, Lapini Paya. He does force that, Tez, because he's such a big player.
It's a one-on-one strip, I think, with Chris Bridge. Chris Bridge tries to strip the ball. You can see here, he strips the ball, it comes forward.
Yeah.
It comes forward.
Were there 2 in there?
Yes.
Well, they still get the ball back,
It
don't
still
they,
goes
on
forward.
halfway. Could have been a penalty, Bill, you're right, could have kicked for touch. Tony Smith knows that his side are in a real battle here.
Well, it's really important that they show that sort of characteristic, because of course they've got a massive game next weekend in that cup semi-final against Leeds at Langtree Park.
And it's all about your performance, what you do today. Is there an injury to Gareth O'Brien, is it? Was it Griggs?
Myler, sorry. Myler. Richie Myler gets his head on the wrong side.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's put his head where no man wants to put his head.
He's had some rough luck with injury, Richie Myler. This is his only 5th appearance since early April, in actual fact. Could do with a decent run. He's back on his feet, thankfully. He's out on the far side of the field, though, just getting things back in place as Muniz makes some good yards for the Catalan Dragons. Pellissier makes a mean pizza, Eloy Pellissier, or rather his dad does, in the family restaurant. There he is. Here is Leon Price. Now Thomas Bosk, and Bosk kicks early. Millard is chasing. Oh, and that ball's been lost by Ratchford, and Anderson was very close where Ratchford regains it.
Well, that was a beautiful kick, just dabs it behind the line. The winger Gene norms it, not drop back, but it's a good job Stephen Ratchford could get to that ball. Stunning kick from Leon Price.
Here is Ormsby. Broke into the side earlier in the season. He's got 12 tries in 18 Super League appearances as Ormsby, so he's been a real success story. Griggs. And a kick. A good deep one, and back goes Millard, chasing a kick up the other end of the field a moment ago. This time he's got room and time to gather the ball and then bring it back for the Catalan Dragons.
Well, the kick chase from Warrington, I think that's one of the standouts in this performance. They know that whether it be Ratchford, Myler, O'Brien or Monaghan, as soon as that ball goes down the other end of the park, they can't stand back and admire it. That's when the hard work starts.
6 points apiece. I remember a game here in 2011 in similar conditions. There was lightning, rain against the Bradford Bulls, and it finished 8 apiece. Are we on for that sort of contest? Thankfully, the conditions have improved. The forecast isn't great, I have to say. They're anticipating more thunderstorms overnight. If it holds off for the rest of this game, it'll be good news.
And because of these long kicks, you can see that the Warrington players, the big men, are struggling to get back behind the ball.
It's a great point, that. Although it doesn't look like too much of a kick in terms of intensity, the big fellas are having to turn around, trudge back. You saw that Stephen Ratchford was miles away from that ball, and he was a little bit laboured getting to it.
Here's Roy Asatazi.
And that's a result, Bill. The carries from the big men, they've got no sting.
O'Brien's kick, going deep again. Oldfield, scorer of the Catalan Dragons try, brings it back as far as his 20-metre line, is then dumped on the ground.
Well, it's a game of kick tennis now. Get to your kick, kick long, defend really hard. Who's going to crack? Who's going to make the mistake?
Pelissier picks that ball up and makes some good, sharp meters. Because we are in France for the Catalan Dragons.
Sorry, Bill, and it's those little speed sets, that's what really hurt you.
And by speed sets, you mean when the backs get in, speed the game up. I don't think in Warrington's favour, I don't think they've asked enough questions. I'd love to see Chris Bridge. There's a forced offload again. Warrington get the ball back. They're not asking too many questions when they're getting good ball. When they're in this part of the pitch, the 6 and 7, O'Brien and Marler just aren't quite right.
And Warrington get the penalty. See Catalan hand in there as Ben Harrison. And Monaghan, Joel Monaghan, has taken a quick tap from that penalty. Catalan were busy disputing it. Warrington didn't hang around. They're not hanging around now. It's with Paul Wood. Michael Monaghan just pointed him the way ahead. Straight up the middle, he said, to his prop. Gareth O'Brien. Here's Griggs, virtually back where Wood played the ball.
But it's the same men defending, it's the same men making effort after effort.
Myler, little step from him. He's back after that bang. Quick play the ball. They could be in here. They are in with Ormsby. Cool as you like from Gene Ormsby. And he gets his 12th try of this Super League season. His 13th try in all. A little dot down in the corner. Made it look easy, but he was tight for space. And great construction to that try from the Warrington Wolves to put them back in front.
Well, this comes off the back of a penalty. Warrington earn a penalty, and then it's Joel Monaghan. Well, he's not wasting any time. He knows the clock's ticking down. He needs to get upfield as soon as he can, and as soon as he does that, he gives his brother a chance, Michael Monaghan. Michael Monaghan, he's got so much vision. He scored the opening try for Warrington himself. Look at him, he's isolating players. And the outside defenders are looking what's going on with Michael Monaghan, what's going on with the runners. They left that gaping hole for Gene Ormsby to score the second try for Warrington.
Michael Monaghan then scoring one for Tony Smith and now making one for Gene Ormsby. And Chris Bridge. Chat with James Laithwaite, that prepares to line up this conversion. Surprised that Ben Westwood is the other player missing out here today.
I was just going to say that Laithwaite and Ben Westwood, 18th and 19th men, come on the trip. We saw them at the airport. When I saw Ben Westwood, I thought it was a little bit unusual to take a player of that experience and not use him, but perhaps the time in camp, the team together. There's been lots of discussions, and I've said it before, when you go away logistically you've a lot to deal with, but if you use that time wisely, it can kick you on for a 3 or 4 week period.
Good time for Warrington Wolves to score, and good time for Chris Bridge to land the conversion as well, to put them 12-6 ahead with just a couple of minutes to go until the half-time hooter sounds.
Well, he's a wonderful player, Michael Monaghan. When he retires at the end of the year, you'd love to think that he could still be involved in the game somewhere in some capacity. And the intelligence and the experience he's gained, I'm sure that Brad Dwyer would be a far better player spending some time around him.
Well, Warrington then, having taken a lead in the 12th minute of the game, recapture it just a couple of minutes before the half-time hooter sounds, and it's been a real tussle with this very determined Catalan Dragons side. Well, two determined sides here tonight at the Stade Gilbert Brutus. Lovely warm evening, and Catalan on the back foot again as Ratchford plays the ball, and Bridge hammers it into touch right on the hooter. And it's a job well done at half-time for this Warrington Wolves side. Gene Ormsby there with the try just before the half-time hooter sounded. Michael Monaghan earlier on, both of them converted by Bridge. And Warrington will be pleased with their first half work. They lead by 12 points to 6.
Yes, they will, Bill. You're absolutely right. Psychologically, the perfect time for the Warrington Wolves to score a try, right on the stroke of half-time. Conditions difficult, handling conditions far from easy, but to be fair to both sides, not a bad match. Good tussle, Warrington just ahead. Well, nothing much to choose between these two sides at half-time. Catalan 6, Warrington 12, and elsewhere in the First Utility Super League tonight, it is pretty tight as well. Hull are beating the leaders. St Helens 12-6, Leeds being held by relegated Bradford, 4 points apiece. Right, back to the south of France. Terry, Barry and Bill are waiting for us.
Thanks, Eddie. Warrington fans all dressed up for this one. And you've got to take a special mention to Paul Jenkins, who spent the last 2 weeks cycling from Warrington to Perpignan to raise money for the Steve Prescott Foundation. A total of 1,600 kilometres, or 994 miles in actual fact, to get here. And he gets here just in time for an almighty thunderstorm, just as he arrived. But he's seeing his Warrington side just ahead as the second half gets underway by 12 points to 6. And it was a good, workmanlike 40 minutes from the Warrington Wolves. Neither side will be particularly pleased with their error count. More of the errors coming from the Catalan Dragons side.
Well, I was trying to read the body language from the changing rooms. Warrington all sat, all looking and staring out Tony Smith, listening to his instruction. I think Lauren Fresineau had a few pockets of players just conversing with one another, maybe giving some information. This is what I need you to do. That's what you're going to expect from me. I think Catalan would have gone into the half-time dressing rooms just a little bit disappointed with what they dished up in that last 5 minutes. But Warrington, with Michael Monaghan right in the middle of it, would have been delighted.
Pomeroy plays the ball. He's a really difficult player to stop, Ben Pomeroy. And Escaré finds Zebtaya, but that's not the best kick. It's straight into the arms of Ratchford, and Ratchford is able to return it rapidly for the Warrington Wolves.
A little bit loose, a little bit sloppy there from Catalan on the last tackle, but Stephen Ratchford and Warrington looking to pick up where they left off just before half-time. In good ball again.
Here's Paul Wood. Michael Monaghan, who's really been on song, coming back into the side after 7 games out, and out there. Oh, Ratchford did well there. Not just a rugby league player, he looked like a slip fielder there as he went down to get that ball. Here's Roy Asatazi, takes a short pass from Richie Myler. Michael Monaghan barking out instructions. Myler puts the kick in. Leon Price sticks a boot out, retrieves the ball, and is able to gather for the Catalan Dragons.
They'll have just been down to the changing rooms talking to Jerome Guisset, and all the talk from the Catalan camp was all about it's a playoff game. High intensity, keep it up. There's lots of efforts that we need to improve on, but also they said that we need to make sure that we're good in transition. Whenever they get the ball from a mistake from Warrington, they need to be better. And Tony Smith, very pleased with the line speed from Warrington. Stay in that arm wrestle, hit hard, keep running hard, and it's a real war of attrition.
Eloy Pelissier with a good hard run for the Catalan Dragons. The kick is charged down, and Myler is there to gather the ball for the Warrington Wolves. Did well, Richie Myler. Not only did he get hands to that kick, but he was also able to gather the ball and set Warrington Wolves on the counter-attack. But Joel Monaghan is hurt. Monaghan, in that tackle, has done something.
Let's have a look. Lapini Paya looks like he's hit him right in the ribs.
And Gregory Muniz clocked him round the chops.
I was going to say, was it Gregory Muniz here when he comes in, hit him with his right arm as he's falling down?
This angle will tell us Gregory Muniz, as we say, one of the longest, or the longest serving player of the Catalan Dragons.
Well, Gregory Muniz has only just got back in the side after suspension for that ill-tempered match against the Wigan Warriors a couple of weeks ago. Joel Monaghan not impressed.
Well, he doesn't stay down, Joel Monaghan. He's a tough player. Tony Smith, well, I think he's asking questions of the referee. Not happy with that decision to leave Gregory Muniz on the pitch.
Take two, Tez.
Yeah, I think I would, Barry. It's more pressure then.
Slow the game down.
Catalan. No.
Yeah.
And Bridge has called for the kicking tee as a result of the penalty awarded. And Warrington looking to extend their advantage.
Really sensible from the Wolves. They're looking complete control at this point, as they did at the back end of the first.
Well, 8 points in front if Chris Bridge kicks this. So the pressure will be on Catalan.
And let's not forget, Tez, it's great reward from that kick pressure. Myler tried to charge the ball down. Field position, penalty ensued, and let's see what happens from this kick.
Bridge hasn't missed this evening. Still hasn't missed. Extends Warrington's advantage. 14-6 they lead here. Remember last September in rainy conditions, much worse than this. It was tight between these two sides. It's heading that way again here.
Well, there's the penalty. And there's no complaints really from Lauren Fraser, who that was a high shot on Joel Monaghan. And as soon as Chris Bridge hit that ball, he knew it was over. Started trotting back to take his position. Started the second half well, Warrington.
Asatazi running the ball back, and big collision between him and Lapini Paya there. Two big men. Paul Wood plays the ball. Here is Trent Waterhouse. Needs some game time. The second rower out for 10 games since the knee injury he sustained at the Magic Weekend back in April. O'Brien's pass still reaches Grix, but then Grix loses possession. Pomeroy picks it up and will counter. I said he was difficult to stop, Ben Pomeroy. He's all arms and legs. A little kick chase from Bosch now. We've seen him do this before against Harlequins a few years ago, and Bosch almost does it again.
Nearly backed himself, Thomas Bosch, from a wonderful offload. Ben Pomeroy, as you quite rightly said, he's all elbows, arms and knees, gets the ball away. Straight on the attack from Thomas Bosch. Just knees that ball forward. Good alert, good reaction. Monaghan and O'Brien just snuff out the threat.
They're a big side, Catalan. Whether it be Pomeroy or whether it be Zeb Taylor.
They're good on the fringes, they're big on the fringes and need to be physical. We've talked about Zeb Taylor a few times and the physicality that he has in his game.
Do you know, I was just down in the tunnel there, and you forget how big these players are when you used to play the game. They come out of the changing rooms and they're absolutely huge.
Here's one of them. Lapini Paya, but he runs into some similarly well-built Warrington defenders.
Well, you've got to match them, Bill. We've seen many times when the steamroller pack of Catalan gets on top.
Bosch A moment of magic from him a moment ago. Could there be more magic from the Catalan Dragons? It's with Millard. Millard has to come back infield. Ormsby chases him, hounds him down. Louis Anderson, his brother Vinny, still in France, still playing for Carcassonne in the French Championship, by the way. Little chip ahead from Whitehead this time. Whitehead still going, and Whitehead will he get the try? Whitehead celebrates, but he's gone to the video ref for the first time tonight, and Thierry Alibert will have to see whether the former Bradford Bull, Elliot Whitehead, has got the try.
I don't think he has.
I think Gareth O'Brien grounds this ball.
Yeah, I don't think he has.
Well,
you can nearly always tell from the reaction of the player. They're all onside.
Does he ground the ball?
Is there enough?
Or is it an air swing, Barry? Have a little look, it's his left arm.
It's an air swing from O'Brien, I think.
Yep.
As we watch it play out, we're all trying to...
Well, his arm goes over the top of the ball, doesn't it? Does his forearm ground the ball? Or does Elliot Whitehead score the try?
Well, it was Elliot Whitehead's reaction that I thought was a bit negative. And that was concurred by the video referee. He didn't think there was enough purchase. Lauren Fraser looks on in astonishment.
Drop out, yeah?
There's a real schmozzle on the floor. The video ref has said that that ball is grounded at that point.
By Gareth O'Brien, is it?
Yep. So it's a drop out from under the sticks. Yep. So it's a drop out from under the sticks here.
Close call for the Catalan Dragons.
There we go. He's winding up.
Lapini pair again.
Too many steps. Just run
straight and hard. Pick somebody out. Chris Bridge was in front here.
Penalty. Catalan Dragons. Warrington just under a little bit of pressure. Catalan have responded. They're stung.
Trying to control him, trying to turn Lapini Payer on the back. Unfortunately, they couldn't do that. Tony Smith's men now. More pressure.
One now! Back! Go, one.
Mikel Simon with the run. Now Bosch finds Muniz. Muniz picks out Roy Asatazi to run at.
Go wide!
10 metres out, the Catalan Dragons. Pelissier. Pelissier goes on his own. Little darting run from the hooker. Almost caught Warrington napping there. Quick play the ball. Muniz fancies it. Muniz is over. I think he's got that ball down. Gregory Muniz has been awarded the try. Monaghan and Myler cannot believe the decision, at least that it didn't go upstairs. But Gregory Muniz gets his first try of the season.
Well, let's watch this play the ball. Pelissier jumps out from dummy half. Here's the first penalty. Chris Bridge around the neck illegally. The ball comes out the back. I don't think it's played properly at all. Taking nothing away from Gregory Muniz, who gets the ball over the white stripe. And a try for his team. Let's have a look at this play the ball. No way. Knock on.
There he is, bods the ball down, Gregory Muniz, who played in the Catalan Dragons' first ever Super League game back in 2006. Famous night against the Wigan Warriors. He's still going. The longest serving of the Dragons, the current Dragons, and back after missing 2 games. And Bosch banging in front of the posts to narrow the gap to just 2 points, if he lands these 2 points. Little fizz from the Catalan Dragons in the build-up to that try. It results in 6 points. A try from Muniz, a conversion from Bosch, and it's Catalan 12, Warrington 14.
Well, a good old-fashioned game here, Gregory Muniz. You can see Paul Wood's on the floor, and as soon as you see a man at the play of the ball that's on the floor, you pick the ball up and you go. And that's exactly what Gregory Muniz does on that occasion. Morgan Escudero, maybe the call's going for him. The incorrect play of the ball, in my opinion.
He's required to make an attempt to play the ball.
Yep.
And he could be deemed to have attempted to play the ball.
Well, I don't agree.
I'm with Barry. I think he lost that ball.
Well, Each to their own. You're entitled to your opinion. You're just wrong, that's all.
Well, anyway, there's 2 points in front for Warrington. And as I said, Bill, it's game on.
Escaré dealing with that nasty bouncing ball awkwardly. Mikel Simon.
He seems to have come of age this year.
He's running hard and he's looking to find his front. It was a good point that John Wells made at half-time, talking about the Warrington players trying to get the big men from the Dragons onto their back. We'll have a look at it. We'll try and spot it a few times. The idea being, if you're on your back, it takes an extra fraction of a second to flip onto your front, play that ball, and gaining the advantage for the defenders.
Escaré's kick again, straight into the arms of Stefan Ratchford. It's building up into another great contest between these two sides. And there have been some of those down the years since Catalan Dragons entered the Super League competition. Catalan's biggest win against Warrington, that 44-16 win in front of a crowd of 11,500, when Steve Menzies and Setamata Sarr got a couple of tries each. Famous night that was.
There's a good atmosphere at this game, Bill. Lots of travelling supporters from the Warrington club, and the Catalan Dragons enjoying the rugby league that their team plays at home. Anybody that doesn't believe in rugby league in this part of the world needs to come to a Catalan fixture.
Millard goes for that ball, it bounces up for Wood. Wood is taken out, and the referee has gone, I think, to the video ref to see about that one, because Paul Wood had a very, very good chance of getting that ball, and Millard, I think it was, has taken him out.
Well, first of all, are they onside from the kick? There's no problem from that angle. Yep, Gene Ormsby was behind Monaghan. Who does this ball come off?
It goes backwards anyway.
Well, I think it's a knock-on as well. It comes off the head, but does it come off the hand of Paul Wood as well? The ball goes up, Joel Monaghan taps it back because he knows his teammate is in support. That's play on.
This is the best angle to see whether Paul Wood touches it with his hand.
It comes off his head, but does it touch his hand after it comes off his head? This is what the video referee is going to be having a look at. That's backwards, so that's play on. He was obviously penalised there.
You know, the more times you look at that, the more you think that Paul Wood has a chance to get it, definitely. But is it what they call a falcon, where it hits him in the head? We hear that Matty Russell can't play today because of a... Now then. Well, I think it hits his hand.
It hits his head, and then does it hit his hand?
I think it's the other way around. I think it hits his hand, goes backward, hits his head, and then, whilst trying to score the try, is it a penalty try?
It's no good looking at me.
No, I don't.
Probably no good looking at him either, actually.
I don't think it is.
You could argue.
Jerry Alibert is the video ref. Richard Silverwood has got the words.
Well, they've given a penalty here to Warrington because the video ref didn't think that Paul Wood would have got to that ball to score the try. That's why he's not been awarded the penalty try.
But Daryl Millard has given the penalty away. He's scratching his head, Michael Monaghan.
He's awarded a penalty in favour of the Warrington Wolves. Michael Monaghan has just been discussing that decision with referee Richard Silverwood.
Anyway, anyway, advantage to Warrington.
Here is Paul Wood. Has he got an opportunity to score a more conventional try? Plays the ball. It goes backwards, forwards. Warrington have it back. Initial knock-on. Who was that by? Referee Silverwood says it's
Warrington.
Warrington's head.
Gareth O'Brien. The fans in front of us go absolutely bananas. They think that's a defensive win for the Dragons side. Good line speed, good pressure. Is it Richie Myler who knocks the ball on?
They think it's Richie Myler that knocks the ball on. Obviously the video referee, the referee, Richard Silverwood, thought it come off Gregory Muniz.
Well, back-to-back scrums awarded a penalty rather, and then the scrum in favour of the Warrington Wolves. They've got a great position here to try and regain the ascendancy in this game. They hold a narrow lead at the moment. Michael Monaghan again. He's outstanding tonight. But Gareth O'Brien juggles with that one. Richie Myler gets a hold of it, but so do the Catalan Dragons get the hold of him. Louis Anderson with the tackle on his former teammate. Paul Wood now. Wood is upended once more. Michael Monaghan sizing up the terrain. Goes left, finds Gareth O'Brien. O'Brien finds Bridge. Bridge stabs the kick in, and this time it's Catalan Dragons who have to defuse it, although Rhys Evans claims the try. Evans, saluted by his teammates, confirms he reckons he's got the ball down.
This is the most dangerous man for Warrington tonight. Chris Bridge needs to be more involved. The chasers are all onside. I was going to say this is definitely a try test. I was going to say Rhys Evans has got that ball down.
Look at his right hand.
Yeah. It's a meat pie for Rhys Evans. Chris Bridge has to be more involved for the Warrington Wolves today.
Good speed, good commitment from Evans. Holds good shape on the edge. And that's a try.
Well, the Catalan Dragons, while we look at the replays, are lined up for a tap on the 20. They reckon that Oldfield has managed to diffuse the danger.
I agree with you, Tez. I think this is a try. I do.
Just have a little look at his right hand. The ball's going down, his right hand's still on it.
Oh, Mystic Tez. What is the decision?
I think he's grounded that. Well, the Warrington players are all going back. They've seen it on the big screen. They think it's a try. Well, the video referee, Thierry Alibert, still not convinced yet.
Rhys Evans, who got 2 tries in defeat against Wakefield last week. Has he got a try for the Warrington Wolves here tonight? It'll be his 14th of the season if he has. It's awarded. Evans just got a finger to it. And Tony Smith issuing the instructions. Michael Monaghan out there on the field conveying his coach's message as well. And Warrington, having had their advantage cut to 2 points, regain the initiative with this try.
Well, Barry's talked about Chris Bridges' involvement, and normally when he gets hold of the ball, we've seen over recent weeks that things seem to happen. The more good players touch the ball, the more things come off. And the perfectly weighted kick from Chris Bridge into that path of Rhys Evans. And as well, let's give Rhys Evans some credit here, because he didn't give up on the chase. He knew that if he could get to the ball, he had a chance of grounding it. Excellent play from the young winger.
Ben Westwood in the background there as Chris Bridge lines up for this kick at goal. If he lands this, it'll be 1,000 points for the Warrington Wolves. It's a tricky one from way out wide. But the Warrington fans wishing him all the best as this ball sets off. And Bridge is just on target. And the Wolves on target for a vital win here in Perpignan. They lead by 20 points to 12, a 100% goal-kicking return from Chris Bridge, taking him to 1,000 points in the Warrington colours.
Well, they needed this, the Wolves. Catalan had just started to claw their way back into the game. O'Brien to Bridge, who takes it to the line, puts it into that nice piece of land behind the try line. And Rhys Evans gets his side back into the box seat.
Ian Proctor alongside me here at Stade Gilbert Brutus, ever watchful, has just pointed out it's actually 1,001 points for Chris Bridge.
Release it!
Never misses a point.
I'm not going to argue with him. I'm not going to argue with him.
No point. So Bridge has got the Warrington Wolves supporters singing. It was his kick that Rhys Evans followed up. And you sense that potentially Warrington could kick on now and maybe hammer home their advantage in this game. That seems to have just deflated the Catalan Dragons a little bit as Myler thumps this ball downfield. Escaré well positioned to gather the ball and then find Daryl Millard.
Again, Bill, it's It's a long kick, but that again is an excellent chase. Tony Smith talked about it at half-time when he said that they're just turning up, they're defending the pressure that they're putting on the opposition because they're so urgent getting off the line.
Chris, you're not square, Chris Hill!
Chris Hill back on the pitch for the Wolves. He is very important, crucial in fact. He needs to match what the big men of Warrington, including this player, Mikel Simon, back up the middle. Good physical tussle, and Chris Hill, who's been exceptional all year. Many of his teammates, there we go, right on cue. Many of his teammates view him as a contender for the Man of Steel.
Escarade launches that kick.
Just too much on that. Splits Rhys Evans and Stefan Ratchford.
Sylvain Hules leaning on the Warrington dugout next to Ben Westwood has had an invaluable 10 days in the Warrington camp. Hules, former Super League player of course, now running the family farm near Albi where they produce magnificent Roquefort cheese, as you will have witnessed on Boots and Me a few years ago, but also a very successful coach now. He's coached Toulouse to the French Championship title and the French Cup in his first season in charge of a coach, and he was at the Huddersfield Giants under Tony Smith, renewing that relationship to get some great experience, and this is a good night to get that experience, a really tense battle between these two sides.
And it's important as a coach growing in your game that you get to witness and get to take part in as many different systems as possible. Morgan Escaré just let that ball hit his shin. They need to come up with something now, the Dragons. They look a little bit flat as another mistake is forced. Monaghan with a good strong tackle.
Well, Catalan's error count must be well into double figures now. It was 8 at half-time. And that error has put them back on their own try line and under pressure once more. And Ratchford looking to unpick the defence. Ratchford, I think, has knocked that ball on, and the referee will bring them back. No, Pomeroy. Pomeroy,
what's going on?
trying to beat the post.
I think he was trying to sidestep the post.
He's
Well, he
laughing.
failed.
He's laughing because I think he thought that the post, the big shield, was a play. A good shot from Monaghan. Warrington get the ball. It's a bit loosey-goosey. Ratchford puts the ball on the floor. Henderson returns the favour. We'll have a look at Pomeroy run right into the sticks. Trying to move it out the way, bump it out the way, but it's not going to work. Pomeroy, it's a post. It's not going anywhere.
Neither is Michael Oldfield by the look of things.
I'm just wondering whether the post pad gets a tackle for that.
He sidestepped it.
Or a missed tackle. That's like your stats.
Poor execution.
That'll be in the review, won't it?
That's like your stats, Tez. None for one.
Here is Andrew Henderson, has the distinction of having played the professional game in all 4 of the major league playing nations, the Catalan hooker, and then earns the penalty.
Well, too long from Chris Hill. Referee Richard Silva just having a little word with the prop forward as he's going back.
There's that tactic again, trying to put the defenders on the back, buying half a second.
Have Warrington stepped it up the second half?
I think they're winning the energy battle because they're controlling the ball a little bit better because of those long kicks. You see Jeff Lima having to exert more energy to get what he wants, which is a front play of the ball.
Louis Anderson did not like the attentions of Trent Waterhouse there. Waterhouse is penalised for a hand in. He could have been, well, it was what Catalan felt was a high tackle. It was seemed all right. Oh, Bateri making inroads to the Warrington defence. Maybe Catalan aren't done yet. Henderson appeals for a quick play of the ball. Price drifting across the field. Bosk trying to step away from trouble, gets the pass away to Price. Price finds Pomeroy now, and Pomeroy, little skip from the big Aussie centre. Tackled about 10 metres out. Escaré. Here is Escaré once more. Whitehead, little step from him. He can be dangerous, Whitehead. He needed somebody on his shoulder then. He was looking for him. He's turned onto his back. Good defence from Warrington on that occasion. Time to regroup, just vital seconds one there. So Bosch puts the kick in, Anderson will go for it, he'll get Ormsby. Ormsby did well there, the winger.
Louis Anderson pointed where he wanted that ball. It was a good shot on Gene Ormsby, but we'll have a look at the run. So a beautiful kick from Thomas Bosch.
That's a brilliant header under pressure.
Under pressure as well. You see the Warrington play, you see Richie Myler, that as soon as that kick was put in, he turned around and chased back, just trying to get in the way of players like Anderson, so that Gene Ormsby had the time. Let's have a look. Look at the run, look at the determination on Louis Anderson and the Warrington players, the blue shirts in the screen. It's a good game, this, Bill.
It has. It's had its errors. You wouldn't say that they've been faultless, but given the deluge we had before, and also at half-time a bit more rain, it's turned into a great contest.
Brad Dwyer, the number 22 on the pitch now.
Yeah, and Michael Monaghan still out there as well. Is it?
Mikel Simon, strong run from the Wakefield-bound prop.
Trying to make out who's come off for Brad Dwyer.
Well, Michael Monaghan's earned a rest, that's for sure.
Well, they do that sometimes. Mickey Hyam, Michael Monaghan on the pitch at the same time.
Quick hands, Bosch for Escaré. Escaré's got Pomeroy. Pomeroy cuts back infield, then the ball out wide, and Oldfield will get his second try of the game. Great build-up from the Catalan Dragons. They haven't gone away. And Pomeroy, he kept him waiting. And Laurent Fraser-New calmly setting down more instructions, and Michael Oldfield takes his tally to the season to 15.
Well, here's the kick from Thomas Bosch. An excellent pick-up, an excellent chase from Louis Anderson. And this is why they've only been beaten at home on 2 occasions this year. By Wigan, by Leeds. Warrington have turned up. They look like they've got all the energy. And all of a sudden, Catalan open up, they throw the ball out, they engage defenders. Morgan Escaré around the back. And you've got Pomeroy stepping off his right foot and then comes up with a superb pass to Michael Oldfield. This game isn't finished yet.
The ball, the kicking tee is delivered rather. It's Pomeroy and Oldfield. Just discuss that one. And then Thomas Bosch lines up the conversion attempt. Crucial kick at goal this, could again trim Warrington's lead to just 2 points. Great atmosphere here tonight, love coming here, and this game especially brings out the Catalan supporters. Warrington bring great numbers. Simon Moran, the Warrington owner, just down below us as well, just sitting a few rows in front of Bernard Quach, who's watching that kick at goal. Just missed.
Well, it was a great play from the Dragons. First-class execution.
Flag went up.
That's excellent. You're getting carried away.
Well, let's have a look at it's the up and in defence of Warrington that just has them struggling. It looks like the Dragons have got numbers, but they're playing with such width that the space that Michael Oldfield finds on the edges, we're all getting carried away, Bill.
Bosch lands the conversion, just to be clear. Catalan 18, Warrington 20,
well, Bill,
the final score. I think one flag stayed down in actual fact.
Is that your excuse? Is that what you're saying?
I'm clutching at straws, I think.
Well, Brad Dwyer's come on, and we were trying to figure out what players left the pitch, and it's Trent Waterhouse that's gone off. So they've gone for a bit of speed by putting Brad Dwyer on Michael Monaghan, Gareth O'Brien and Richie Myler. It's all about around the ruck. It's all about working those big men over for Catalan.
Price, will he go for a 40-20 here? No, he's gone for a deep kick, but straight into the arms of Stefan Ratchford. Price is following his own kick up, makes the tackle. He'll be playing for Hull FC next season, along with Mark Sneed, of course. Rhys Evans, try scorer in this second half for the Warrington Wolves, who have a slender lead here. Lost their last couple of games, determined to get back in the saddle with a victory here tonight. Being driven forward by that man, Michael Monaghan. And Monaghan, great pass, finds Myler.
It's a good play from Monaghan and Myler.
Fifth tackle. Gareth O'Brien stabs a little kick in, Henderson knocks on, and the ball picked up by Ratchford.
Beautiful.
Ratchford for Joel Monaghan, and Monaghan plunges over for the try. Richardson with no hesitation, the try is awarded. That was superb reaction to that broken play situation, because the ball ricocheted back for Ratchford. Ratchford quickly popped it up. Joel Monaghan for the second time tonight gets a bang on the head, but he won't mind that one.
Gareth O'Brien just tries to dink that ball into the corner. The ricochet puts it into the path. Did Leon Price have enough time to pick that ball up? Great stop. He might have viewed himself as offside. A no-look pass from Stephen Ratchford and Joe Monaghan, who catches one whilst he's scoring that try. Warrington again in full control. Joe Monaghan, the top try scorer in the division, notches another one up.
23rd of the season for Joel Monaghan, and again Catalan Dragons have only got themselves to blame. They didn't deal with that kick, the ball ricocheted, Warrington capitalised.
I think he had a really difficult decision to make, Leon Price. He was offside, could have given a penalty away.
Chris Bridge hasn't missed tonight, he's gone past 1,000 points for the club. And he shouldn't miss this one, the way he's been kicking. On target again. Well, he went into this game with a kicking success rate of 75% this season. He's 100% here tonight.
Well, they're a happy side at the minute, Warrington. Things are coming off for them because they're putting themselves where the action is. Joe Monaghan, one of the best. He enjoys playing his rugby league. Warrington, well, at the minute, they look well and truly in control in this second half.
Phenomenal return Joel Monaghan has got. He has now 97 tries in 96 Super League appearances for the Warrington Wolves. And Warrington, can they hang on to the lead this time? That's the only problem, because they've made the mistake of allowing Catalan Dragons back into the game.
But the two bookends, Chris Hill and Anthony England, both on the two starting props. Neither one of them then was dealt with by the Catalan defenders. And that's a front foot kick. It's a little bit too long, but Gareth O'Brien and the Wolves won't be too bothered. Just keep that clock ticking.
Coming up to the last 10 minutes, Barry, so Catalan have really got to up the ante.
They need to score next.
Well, they generally have done in this game.
And that player needs to get his hands on the ball a lot more. He's an edge player, so he has to wait, has to be patient.
Have they done a specific job on Elliot Whitehead?
I don't think they've gone to that side enough for Elliot Whitehead.
Escarade. We haven't seen much of Seb Tyre either, have we?
No. Is that because of the mistakes that they're playing? Are they playing tight in the middle?
Well, now we've seen something of him, and he ran at potential.
Well, it's the hole that Brad Dwyer left when he come out the line. Keep your line, don't try and solve problems yourself.
They're looking to offload. Jeff Lima looked behind him then.
Bosk launches that one. Ratchford comes, gathers cleanly.
It's a lonely place at fullback. When that ball goes up, that's your job. Whether you like it or not, you've got to make sure that you catch it. If you don't catch that ball, you'll be getting a finger wagging from your teammates.
Just sounds like a country and western tune. It's a lonely place at fullback. Well, Warrington Wolves will be pretty satisfied with this performance should they go on to secure the points here tonight, secure themselves in the top 5 in the table. They could, had they lost here tonight, they could still potentially get overhauled by Huddersfield after this round 23, but the way they're going at the moment, they've got victory within their sights. There is Brad Dwyer, And Gareth O'Brien hoists that one. Millard comes for it, but nobody wanted it. It went off. Griggs forward. Referee calls the knock on. That'll be the turnover there.
Well, this part of the game, this is where the pressure starts to mount on you. You know that you need to come up with a couple of scores. An incredible home record. And they won't turn it up, Catalan.
Well, let's just watch and enjoy it.
They've got to strike.
Absolutely. It could go one of two ways. It could, as it's done for most of the game, result in some mistakes and some errors, or we could be in for a real finish.
Henderson. Darting run from the Catalan Dragons hooker. Muniz. Long ball finds Whitehead. Whitehead trying to break free, makes good yards, quick play the ball, it's on the last. Bosk again chips ahead, and Ratchford has to play safe. He was hoping that that ball would go dead, but just couldn't take the gamble.
No, you're right. Just trying to blow the ball over the dead ball. You can see a couple of Catalan players.
Says Chris Hill's down just on the 20-metre line, just on his haunches.
Well, does he know that this side have been under pressure?
Is he trying to buy a minute? I'm going to ask you, because I think that was your pet play, O'Connor.
That's a disgracefully cynical approach.
Only because I know he'd spot it.
Well, Chris Hill, in fact...
Well, by a bit of time, is it Roy Asatasi, Bill, that's coming on?
Yeah. Tony Smith not taking any risks with his dependable prop forward.
Extra valuable seconds for the side. Set 6, you need to defend, you need to switch on.
Goal line dropout, fourth that the Catalan Dragons have forced. And Busquets takes it up to the 30-metre line in the Warrington half. Jason Bateri, Gregory Muniz.
I wouldn't put it past Catalan now, through Elliot Whitehead to get the next try.
Here is Leon Price. Price, that characteristic step. Good pass from Price, how he got that one away. Busquets straight up the middle, trying to get free. Asatasi with the tackle. He's on the 10-metre line. Henderson claps his hands. Well, Whitehead's out to that right-hand side. Bosk puts a little kick in. Oldfield gets his hat-trick. What a try! Michael Oldfield gets 3. Referee hasn't awarded it. Looks as though he got that ball down.
I don't think there's a problem with this. He buys his time. He's well and truly onside. Excellent.
Outstanding finish. It was the threat of Elliot Whitehead, may I add.
That is incredible. That is composure. You're 8 points behind.
Yeah, no problem with that. You know, it's a good point. You talked about Stefan Ratchford and his responsibility in the team. Wingers are paid for situations like that. Convert chances like that. Michael Oldfield. Let's have a look. Decision time.
Interestingly, the Warrington Wolves, even they knew that was coming. One or two of them did the old let's head for the 20-metre line, but the rest weren't falling into that trap. Oldfield gets his 3rd try of the night.
Oh, this is incredible. Let's give credit to the kick as well, and the chase from Jason Battieri. Look at that. The Warrington players come up, and because Thomas Bosk goes at the line, he pulls up those defenders, because it could be a short ball, it could be a long ball where you need to close it down. Instead of that, it is a brilliant weighted kick into the corner.
I maintain my theory of Elliot Whitehead would have scored had he had that ball passed to him, but great execution again. And Thomas Bosch, we talked about him coming back from a 5-match absence for the Dragons, just in time for the playoffs.
Well, it's Oldfield's 2nd hat-trick of his Catalan Dragons career. He got one in the 42-0 defeat of Saints, one of the surprise results of this season, in a season of surprise results. And Warrington Wolves were a victim of one themselves in the last round when they lost at home to Wakefield. They needed to win this to get back to winning ways. They still haven't won it yet. If Bosk lands this, it's going to be a really tight finish. Bosk from the sidelines. He landed the last one. This one looks good. There's no mistake. 24 Catalan, 26 Warrington. What a night in Perpignan.
Well, we've talked about the atmosphere here on the gantry, in the crowd, but what an atmosphere there is in the game. Neither side wants to give up this game just yet. A wonderful try. We've been treated to the highest class of rugby league. In patches there has been mistakes, but understandable.
That Chris Bridge penalty early in the second half, crucial it could be.
What a shot that was.
Bridge, an immaculate goal-kicking performance, and that could decide this game. Bosk hasn't done badly either. They both, in fact, have got 100%. I beg his pardon.
Well, I'm just looking at the bench for Warrington. Here it is, Chris Bridge.
With that penalty, Terry, that could be the decisive kick.
Bilby said at the time when he took that penalty, that's putting the pressure on the opposition. Well, Ian Henderson trying to earn his side a penalty.
It was Assetasites who went for impact rather than control in the previous tackle. They've lost a little bit, Catalan.
Just got a little bit carried away there, the Catalan Dragons, and Price is trapped and trying to get the kick away. The ball's been batted down. It's still on the last. Catastrophe, I think, for the Catalan Dragons.
Well, that was Trent Waterhouse, who's just come back onto the pitch. Tony Smith probably putting some of the big men on. You look at the bench, they've got Paul Wood, Ben Curry, Chris Hill. Does he now choose to play the game tight, or does he still try and play expansive as we go into the closing minutes of the game?
Any point for a drop goal?
No, because then all of a sudden, you'd at the back end, you could make a mistake, kick the ball into the end goal, try and earn another set of 6, or even come up with a try.
Yeah, stay down here. That's the point that Tez is making. If you drop a goal, you're going to receive the ball near your try line.
This time Warrington go for the kick, but it's not a good one from O'Brien. It's too deep. The ball's dead. Quickly back to the 20, the Catalan supporters say.
And that's that kick that I was talking about. Just trap Catalan down here. But now Catalan, because there was too much weight on that kick, they now have a chance.
Eloy Pelissier has been sent on by Laurent Freysinou just alongside us to the right. Him, David Waite and Seb Ragan. Freysinou exhales the nerves. It's that sort of night. What a contest this is turning out to be.
Well, as soon as Pelissier comes on now, you can see him behind the dummy half. You've got to make sure you switch on, because it's runs like this when he gets up from dummy half. If there's one marker, he's very dangerous.
Good defence from the Warrington Wolves, driving Pelissier back. Escarret kicks over the head of Ratchford. And Ratchford, this time it will run dead.
Even though that ball goes out to play, the chase needed to be better from Laurent Freysinou's side. There could have been a chance that it could have held up an Ian goal. You needed to make sure you were there just to try and make Stefan Ratchford come up with a mistake or even force that goal line dropout.
Well, Warrington have reversed the decision to play 2 hookers. They put Paul Wood in, Paul Wood on, and taken Brad Dwyer off. I think the question you was asking a couple of minutes ago, did he clamp it down, batten down the hatches and look after this lead? I think the answer is yes.
Under 4 minutes to go here at the stand at Gilbert Brutus. Warrington looking to become only the 3rd side this season in Super League to win on this ground, following in the footsteps of Leeds and Wigan. And if they do, they'll know they've been in a great contest, and it's probably going to stand them in good stead for what could be a tough contest next weekend. Millard athletically traps that ball. Now then, Catalan need to counter. The clock is against them, the scoreboard's against them. The crowd is very much for them, but they're on the edge of their seats.
As well as penalties, as well as mistakes, penalties are crucial in this period. I'm sure Tony Smith will be asking his side, get that control, yes, make your tackles, but don't buy that extra second. Be a little bit cleaner and a little bit more honest.
Pelissier, here is Price, Whitehead. Oldfield, hero for the Catalan Dragons tonight with his 3 tries, but a bit sluggish in the middle of the field from the Catalan Dragons.
Yeah, they just hesitated, Bill.
Pelissier on the last. Bosk, little chip kick ahead. Escarret was chasing, but the man of the match, in my view, Michael Monaghan, covered across superbly.
He's been brilliant. Michael Monaghan.
Oh, he's got the penalty.
Yeah, he has. There's a lot of things right. He dummies. He knows that he's just got to take his time. Said that the tackle was complete and he's given the penalty away. Did he just lose that ball?
No, I think Morgan Escaré just gave him a little shove, and the 34-year-old is in the right place. If there's been a theme...
Is that enough yet?
Yeah, if there's been a theme this year, I think it's the 30-odd-year-olds, the peacocks, the Morleys. Players like Michael Monaghan. In the modern era, rugby league players look after themselves, they condition their body, and that age is just a number.
Another one of the 30-somethings, Paul Wood, doing well there for the Warrington Wolves. Ratchford slowly to his feet. There's a word with former Wolf, Louis Anderson. Doesn't look as though he's going to be tasting success against his old club. This time, the chip kick ahead is for Monaghan. Joel. And he can't quite get there. Escaré doing well.
Well, positive signs for Warrington. Playing till the final whistle. Joel Monaghan. Good players give themselves a chance. They're always in the hunt, Warrington. They go for the shot. Drop out. Catalan get the ball back.
But they've got a minute to do something with it now if they're going to snatch this game from the Warrington Wolves. Under a minute now. Eloy Pelissier, darting run from him. Pelissier's lost the ball, it's gone backwards, he's got it back again. Now here's Elliot Whitehead. Whitehead to Pomeroy. The ball goes backwards again. No, it was knocked on by the Catalan centre. Warrington celebrate, their fans celebrate. They know that with just 28 seconds on the clock, the error from Ben Pomeroy, trying to take that pass from Elliot Whitehead, has spilled the ball. Warrington will get head and feed.
It's a very ambitious effort, and he has had a quiet game. Elliot Whitehead just flicks it round his back. Pomeroy can't regather it, but a justified result from Warrington. I think they're just about the better side. Tony Smith will be pleased to get on the plane, get back home and start preparations for that big game next weekend.
26-24, the scoreline here. Scrum sets. And Warrington,
knock on.
Catalan go for the shove. They pack the scrum very quickly. Referee calls time off. There goes the hooter. He called time off. He calls time in actual fact. There is no time. Catalan protest, but in vain. And Tony Smith can celebrate a well-earned win for his Warrington side, who came here under a little bit of pressure after back-to-back defeats in Super League. And they've ground out a victory. Never behind here tonight, but never really comfortably ahead. As that final scoreline of 26-24 shows, Catalan Dragons, for only the third time this season, have been beaten at home. And the Warrington Wolves join Wigan and Leeds in having accomplished that feat. But I tell you what, it took some accomplishing.
Yes, it did. We promised you, if you were with us at 7:30 tonight, that we would be bringing you a great game from the south of France. And the players of the Catalan Dragons and the Warrington Wolves have obliged in spades. Those Warrington supporters who are there, and I'm sure they've enjoyed the trip, they will enjoy it even more right now and all the way home on their planes in the morning. Tremendous win for Warrington. Great match, though. The Catalan Dragons gave them. But we'll have the reaction and analysis from this when we return from this short break. Well, this has been a big night in the First Utility Super League. A big night for Warrington in particular. They've won 26-24 in the south of France against the Catalan Dragons to stop the rot after 2 defeats in a row. They were never behind in that match, Warrington. And just look at the other scores tonight. St Helens, the leaders, beaten at Hull FC. They don't like East Yorkshire, do they, Saints? And Leeds, beaten by already relegated Bradford Bulls, 14 points to 20. So that means this is the way the table looks after the opening 2 nights of this round 23. Saints stay on top. The lead, though, is only 2 points now from the Wigan Warriors, who are in second place and poised for an assault. Leeds They've slipped to third place after their starting the weekend in second. Castleford, they can make ground over the weekend. Warrington, right behind them now. Huddersfield, 2 points behind in sixth. Catalan, well, Widnes, if they beat Hulkingston Rovers, they will be, well, very close to the Catalan Dragons. And, of course, the prize for Hulkingston Rovers is to get into that top 8. Fantastic weekend, fantastic night, and the man of the match in Perpignan, judged to have been Michael Monaghan. He's talking to Terry O'Connor.
Michael, congratulations on a man of the match performance. Absolute excellent performance from Warrington, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, especially after 2 pretty disappointing performances the last 2 weeks. And, we come here, really wanted to work on our defence, and, I thought we were great in that regard tonight. And, we had a few blokes coming back after time off, and I thought they were outstanding. Trent Waterhouse, after 12 weeks, unbelievable. Simon Griggs, everyone dug in, and it was probably our best performance of the year, I think.
Well, Trent Waterhouse missing for 10 games. You were missing for 7 games. 34 years of age. That was rolling back the years, and that was an excellent performance from yourself.
Yeah, it was good. I wasn't expecting to play 80, and was looking on the sideline a few times there. But it's what we've been working on this year, is just digging in for each other. And I thought every player 1 to 17 did that today, and holds us in good stead next week going into a big game.
Well, you came into this game on the back of 2 losses. What did you do well today that you haven't done in those losses?
I just thought we were a little bit more aggressive. We worked a little bit harder for each other, I think. Last 2 weeks, Widnes and Wakefield, found us cutting corners a little bit, back on the inside on cut plays, that type of stuff. We were cutting corners, and I think we worked on that during the week, even though it was a short preparation, and paid dividends tonight.
Well, you came to the Selfa Franch, you were expecting to get a suntan. What did you think when you came out and you saw the rain? Did you have to change your game plan?
I'll be honest, mate, I was stoked, because I hadn't done much running the last 7 weeks, and I thought if it was wet, it might slow the game down a bit. So I was pretty happy.
Cheers for your time, Michael.
Great performance from Michael Monaghan. Great performance, to be fair, from Warrington in conditions like that. They're back on track. And as we join Brian and John now to have a look back at that second half, Michael Monaghan is so important to this Warrington Wolves side, isn't he?
He is, absolutely, Eddie. I think he is one of the, if not the smartest players in the Super League competition. A club will do very well to hold on to Michael Monaghan next year. He was a large part of the half-time lead, that 6-point half-time lead for the Warrington Wolves. A Muniz try, a bridge goal, and then the Warrington Wolves struck through a Rhys Evans try. But, John, you found some controversial points leading up to that try.
Well, I think, first of all, the fact that Warrington actually got the ball to start with was perhaps not as straightforward as everybody thought. For me, if you're facing forward as a ball player and you fumble, as O'Brien did here, despite the ball technically not landing in front of him, landed at the side of him, that's a knock-on for me. I think everybody was as surprised as he was when they got the ball from the scrum. But credit then Pomeroy. I think he's really done well to get out the line. Very aggressive line speed, and he's, I think it's a good response. It's a very positive response to a bad call. We've not always seen that from Catalan. I remember, top of the show we were saying about their real discipline. Have a look at Louis Anderson, 2 tackles later, took 15 metres off the Warrington Wolves, that play. So cue the rabbit in the hat man. This is taking the mantle from Lee Breers. And you look at this, there's not an awful lot here that the Catalan Dragons have done wrong. I think, positionally, I think that's right. I think positionally, that's right. There's not, as I said, there's not an awful lot. So have a look and credit this kick. Lee Breers was the master. This is not bad at all. I mean, he's put that on a sixpence for Rhys Evans. As I said, not an awful lot anybody could have done with it. And he seems to be the man they go to when the pressure's on at the moment, Chris Bridge.
Yeah, not much to work with space-wise for him there. It had to be a brilliant kick. It was a brilliant kick. We said before the game that the Catalan Dragons, like the Warrington Wolves, were a very entertaining side when they decided to play, when they stopped trying to be bully boys. We got a glimpse, John, of what they're capable of with Michael Oldfield's second try. This one on 60 minutes, bringing it to 18-20.
Yeah, try of the game for me. First of all, it's Simon here who gets his orders from the inside. He's going to want him to be showing a line. So let's have a look where he starts. Little adjustment late on, and then I'll try and stop it at the relevant point. Anyway, I'll point at the pass. I'm getting good at this. Line through from Simon here. Now, what I would say is there is a massive target on Leon Price's back, because I think, well, not I think, as we see as this comes on,
Chris Hill is licking his lips here.
He's making an absolute beeline for Leon Price. So you've got to give some credit here. The hands here, the reaction, the step actually to commit Hill further. The hands were great. And then I like this other bit. Elliot Whitehead holds the line. This we've seen from Ben Pomeroy quite a lot. That step on the right foot to straighten up and keep those defenders, those scrambling defenders honest, making them accountable, and then walking in the corner for Oldfield. That was his second of 3.
Yeah, brilliant play by Pomeroy to get that ball away in the end. Oldfield got himself a hat-trick at the end, and a lot of credit for this one, John, must go to Thomas Bosk and his kicking game. Yeah, it's a couple of things he probably tried a little too hard. I don't think he was aiming for the sticks, but he did get a couple of dropouts, a couple of chips over the top. It's the speed with which he can think between putting the, realising that there's a winger who's potentially ball watching, to being able to execute the kick and then being able to stick it in the smallest of spaces to enable Oldfield to get a cracking ground in there to be able to put it down and get them agonisingly close to what would have been a... Happy with where Warrington are now, building up to this Challenge Cup semi-final?
Well, I think, yeah, that's the final point we would make. I think to go to the south of France and get a result full stop is a good achievement. To do it with a match like that, of that magnitude, a semi-final against the Rhinos in the back of your mind, the weather conditions and all the factors that they've got to overcome, I think it was a very, very professional performance from the Wolves.
Yeah, only the third Super League side, Eddie, to go to the south of France and win this year. Quite an achievement for the Warrington Wolves. Yes,
quite an achievement from Warrington Wolves. And on the night when the Leeds Rhinos, their opponents next week, were beaten by the relegated Bradford Bulls. Must be a big night for Tony Smith. He's with Terry now.
Tony, give us your thoughts on that game, please.
Great game. It was tough conditions. We had the downpour before the game, and it made a difference to both teams. Both teams liked to throw it around, couldn't really do it tonight, but I thought they both teams played tactically well tonight, considering the wet conditions, some smart kicking games and turning each other around, and it was tough. They're a tough team, and it's a tough trip to come over here, so yeah, delighted. We had to earn every last little bit of it there tonight, and it was we needed it too.
Yeah. Were you nervous at the back end of the game there, because you come into this game on the back of 2 losses, but Michael Monaghan, I thought, was absolutely incredible. Been out for 7 weeks, comes up with a performance like that?
Yeah, probably the difference between the two teams. I thought Thomas came up with some big plays for them as well. I thought he played a really instrumental part in getting them back in the game, but Michael Monaghan was enormous. That's probably not a big enough word for him, for the effort that he put in, and he's been out for so long, and I just thought he'd just come up with some really smart plays as well as being very courageous, and he tackled his little cotton socks off there tonight.
Do you know, when you looked at the weather this night, did you try and change the way that you were going to play because it was a downpour?
Yeah, we did. We had to make some adjustments. It was tough work. It was tough. You saw some early errors from both teams, but considering how wet it was and how much rain we had, commendable really, both teams, that there wasn't more errors, because it was tough defence and people were smashing each other out there. It was a real game of attrition, but fortunately we were able to tough it out there tonight, and we needed to. We needed that for ourselves. We've been a bit off the pace for the last couple of weeks, and we've been bringing some people back, and sometimes that can throw your team out a little bit, and I'm glad that we gelled in the right way there tonight.
I bet he is. That's a great win for Warrington coming into the back end of the Super League season, and of course what's to come next weekend in the Challenge Cup semi-finals. Look, we don't want to pour oil on troubled waters. We don't want to douse Warrington's enthusiasm. The Rhys Evans try. Are you convinced it was a try and not a knock-on?
No, I think the video referee got it wrong, and saying that Uncle Albert, as I called him, is a Frenchman. It was a big call from him, wasn't it? As simple as that. But you've got to give credit to this Warrington outfit. They were very, very good. They really look at, and Tony Smith will look at that video after the game, and he'll see that the Catalan side never made one break down the middle. Now, that's been their problem over the last 2 weeks, is the fact they've been allowing them to run, especially in that they play the ball area, first and second markers. Catalan are very, very strong in the forwards, and I thought that perhaps that would be the way for Catalan to win the game, is to go down the middle. But they didn't give them any opportunity at all. Now, Michael Monaghan, we said at half-time, he's a game breaker, and he was the difference between the two sides. But Tony Smith will be very, very happy with the way that they're defended in the middle, and that will be important when it comes to the semi-final.
And a little bit of ground made up by Warrington in the race for the top 4. Leeds beaten, albeit we understand with a depleted side, but take nothing away from the Bradford Bulls. And the leaders, St Helens, beaten at Hull as well. Massive night for Wigan, who won last night, and for Warrington, who've won tonight?
I think it's much more important than just 2 points for Warrington. I said before the game that Tony Smith and the Warrington side were a bit like an opening batsman in a cricket side. They needed to score some runs to restore some confidence. And a win like that, and the manner in which they won the game, will no doubt have restored the belief that they need to get back to the grand final. Do you know, in the last 10 minutes, when the crowd were up and the Catalan Dragons threw absolutely everything they had, the defence was good and the discipline was excellent not to concede a penalty. And it will have to be for the rest of the season. Their away record so far this year hasn't been great. I believe they still have to go to Wigan and St Helens yet in remaining Super League contests. So to win away in France, I'm sure, is an important one to tick off and in another 2 points to try and stay as high as they possibly can.
And for the Catalan Dragons, of course, demoralising is probably the wrong word to use, but a bad defeat for them because they're on the slide, aren't they? They can't win away from home, and now that's the third defeat at home this season against another top side.
I don't think we're too disappointed. I thought that they played well in the forwards. I thought their defence was quite outstanding. And let's face it, in wet conditions, it was obvious that they were going to utilise a kick to the corner, or maybe they got near to the goal line, and that's where the tries were scored. And it was, as I say, Michael Monaghan was the difference. He scored a try on his own, created 2 more. You can't do much more than that. But, Lauren Frissonneau will feel a little